Hi OTC Foodies, it's Terry. All right, so today I'm making, I guess you could say, a copycat recipe. I'm doing a chicken gnocchi soup, and this really will come together pretty quickly. Really, it's just the prep work and a little bit of simmering that it takes to cook the soup, but you can have this on the table in under 30 minutes. So we have our ingredients out. I got a rotisserie chicken and I shredded that rotisserie chicken because I don't have to cook it, it's already easy. And then I have some fresh chopped spinach, and then some shredded carrots, and then half of a diced yellow onion, and then about 3 stalks of celery that I have diced. And then we have our seasonings, which is fresh thyme, and a little bit of nutmeg and some freshly cracked black pepper. And then we're going to thicken it with our flour. We have some Parmesan cheese, and then we have some gnocchi right here. This is on the shelf, it is stable. So you don't have to have this in the refrigerator. You'll find it in your pasta section in your grocery store. And then we also have our chicken broth, which will be part of our stock, and then our half and half cream. Half and half rather. It's not cream, I'm lightening it up, so not as heavy, not as many calories or fat by using the half and half. All right, so let's come on over to the stove and get the pot ready. So I'm using my good old reliable Dutch oven here. I'm gonna warm this up. And we're gonna saute our vegetables first. Now I'm gonna do a few little turns of the olive oil in the pan and let that warm up. And I wanna start with the olive oil because it's not going to burn like butter will. But then I'm going to add butter into this to give it that flavor. We want that nice, rich, creamy flavor. So after I saute my vegetables in here and get them softened, then I'm going to add my butter, and then we'll start making our roux for our soup. All right, so that's warming up. I'm going to grab my aromatics, which are my carrots and my onions and my celery. Let me grab that. And then some salt, because if we add salt while we're sauteing our vegetables, it's going to help it soften up and break them down, which is really what we want. All right, so that should be okay. Let's put our onions in. Now, if you've had this soup, you know where you can find it at a popular Italian restaurant chain. This is very similar to that, and cheaper as well. This is great to make on a nice fall day. And it will get you plenty of servings. Now, of course, you can always add more carrots if you'd like. This is going to be your soup, so you fix it the way you like. And we're going to do some salt in here as well. All right, we're going to let this simmer for a few minutes, and we want this really to soften up. So really what we're having the vegetables sweat is what they call it. And we don't want them to brown, we just want them to become a little bit softer, but not brown. We want that color for the carrots to stand out in the soup as well as the celery. All right, we're gonna let that sweat for another minute. Now I'm going to cut about 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to use this. Now we need the fat in order to incorporate the flour. So once we add this, we're going to let it cook, and then we'll add our flour, and we want our flour to cook. We don't want that, we don't want to add our stock too soon. We really want to cook this flour in some, so we don't have that floury taste. So about 2 tablespoons of butter. So you can see our vegetables have sweated down. They've broken down a little bit. And our butter is melting. Now if I had used all butter, it would have burned, so that's why we have the half olive oil and half butter. We don't want to burn our fat. Here. All right. 2 more seconds. Now we're not looking for really thick consistency for the soup. We really want something that's going to coat the back of the spoon. Nothing thick like a stew or anything like that. All right, our butter is melted. Now we're going to add our flour. Now I have about 3 heaping tablespoons of flour in here. We want to stir this in. So you really want to continue to cook this for just another minute. We want the flour to absorb the fat, so that way when we make our soup and we put our stock in, we're not going to have the floury lumps. Anybody that's tried to make a gravy and you end up with all those flour particles or the lumps in the gravy, it's because it didn't incorporate fat. All right, that looks good. Now, time for our chicken stock. And you don't want to pour it all in at one time. You just want to slowly pour it in. That was about 1.5 cups there. And you want to make sure you stir the bottom really well. Scrape up all those particles that are on the bottom. You can feel it when you're stirring it, that it's kind of stuck. You want to pull all those bits up. All right, so next we're going to add our chicken and our gnocchi. And the gnocchi is pretty much cooked, so we just want to warm it up and let it simmer with the soup for a few minutes. Okay, let me grab the chicken and the gnocchi. Now I like a good bit of meat in my soup. I like to be able to see it and not guess that there's chicken in there. If you like less, then do less. If you like more, then you can add some more. But rotisserie chickens are really nice to have because you can really put dinner on the table pretty quick. You don't have to worry about cooking raw chicken. All right, so our chicken is added. Now let's get our gnocchi. All right, so these are potato gnocchis. They look like little dumplings, but they're potato based. And I'm going to put these in there. And they are going to soften up and cook in the soup here. All right, there's our gnocchi in with our chicken and our vegetables. You see we still have that really pretty color of the carrots in there and the celery. All right, now for our seasoning, so our spices. So I've got the fresh thyme, and then we have the fresh cracked pepper and nutmeg. And nutmeg is a little different. It's really good in cream sauces or soups because it really has just a little exotic flavor to it. So it adds a nice little touch to that. So let's grab those and then put them in here. And again, you want to use the fresh cracked black pepper. It tastes better than the stuff you find in the can. You can see this is going to make a nice sized pot here. So this is great for a crowd. Like I said, it's awesome for a fall day or football game. Make some breadsticks to go with it, a salad if you'd like, and a nice dessert. And you've got a nice meal. All right, let that simmer. All right, now the last thing we want to do is add our spinach and our Parmesan cheese. And then we'll add our cream after that, our half and half. We don't want the half and half to boil, so we're gonna turn our heat down. We wanna make sure that our gnocchi is cooked through. So we're gonna let this sit for just another minute, and then we'll add our spinach and our Parmesan, and then follow up with our half and half. So stay tuned, check back in just another minute, and we'll be adding the rest of the ingredients in.
2, 1.
All right, welcome back. So we've let this simmer and it's come to a very light boil. You see it's got a really nice consistency there. And now we're gonna add in the rest of our ingredients. All right, so we're gonna throw in our fresh chopped spinach. And I love being able to see like the fresh vegetables and the meat in my soups and stews. I don't like anything that's too thin or you're left guessing what is it. So I like to be able to see it. And this is gonna wilt down, it won't take long. All right, next we're gonna add in our Parmesan cheese. Now that's gonna add some salt to our soup, so you don't want to oversalt it to begin with. You want to wait until you're about finished adding everything in to make sure that it's you haven't added too much salt. So don't go too heavy at the beginning. It's easier to add salt at the end after you've added the cheese than have too much salt added at the beginning. All right, now we're going to finish it off with our half and half. There we go, that beautiful creamy soup. That looks wonderful. Let me add a little more. There we go. And you can see it's still a little thick, but not too thick, and it's coating the back of my spoon. And we just want to give this a taste and see, do we need to add any more seasonings? If you want to take it up a little bit in heat, you can add some crushed red pepper flakes in there. But that's totally up to you. A little more salt, maybe? Okay. Should And there we go. There is our chicken gnocchi soup. Well, I hope you've enjoyed cooking with me today, and I hope you enjoy the soup. And please, if you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see, or if you like a video, please make sure you hit the subscribe bell below, and that way you always have, I guess, you always get notifications of new videos that I put out. So please take care and stay safe, and thanks for eating with me today. Ciao.